Hello and welcome to today's episode of Let's Talk Business. Today I am talking to my friend Abby, who is the owner of LOFT Studio here in Layton, Utah. That is where we are filming all of Let's Talk Business this season. She has created a beautiful photo studio that gives you a little bit of everything. You have a lot of different creative props that you can use. She does different backdrops that she changes throughout the year, and it is a beautiful space. You have a white space or you have lots of different color options. I am so excited for you to hear from Abby. She is very creative and she has honed in on a business that was really needed in Davis County. So let's get started in her episode. So today I have with me Abby. She is the owner and creator of LOFT Studio, which is where we're filming. All of this beautifulness is her fault. So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to start a photo studio.
I've always been very creative as a little girl. I was like the kid who rearranged her bedroom 5 times a week, like I swear. And so I think that kind of sparked things, and then just throughout school I always did like art projects, and it was like my favorite subject. And it actually, Forever Young, she was kind of tied it into because we were using other studios, and it was really fun to see other studios, and there was nobody that was near in Layton. Like they were all Salt Lake or Ogden. Like I always had to travel, and so I was like, this would be a really fun thing, like that I can use as a creative outlet for myself and create a space for other people to use. So that's kind of how it got started. But
That's cool. So what do you do now for Forever Young?
I'm the general manager, so I basically just help run the show, make sure the managers are doing their jobs, stuff like that.
That's cool. And you kind of help to organize like all of the photo shoots and things like that too, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. And that's nice. It gives you like kind of that creative edge. You get to do what you love to do,
Yeah.
and that just like makes sense with having a place to do it.
Yes.
So tell me, like, what does LOFT offer that other studios don't?
I would say, first of all, it's local to Layton, so it offers a space that is closer to people in Davis County. The bathroom, some studios don't have bathrooms that are just outside the door, easy to access. Let's see, the rolling walls, some studios have a rolling wall, but we have 2. And flexibility, I'm always willing to move their date if they need to move it, or always willing to work with people.
That's, you have white space options, which is great for being able to do like product shots.
Exactly.
How often do you switch up the like decor that you do?
So I usually do 2 main flips. So spring, which transfers into out of Christmas, and then I always try to get Christmas up and running beginning of October, like that first week, so that people can start thinking about Christmas and then start getting in. So it's usually fall and spring when I flip it, but sometimes in summertime, if I'm not feeling something, I'll switch it.
Yeah. And where do you kind of come up with your inspiration and ideas for like what props to have? You always have like the cutest ideas, and it's always something new and fun, which I think is something that like most photo studios don't offer. Like they have the backdrops and stuff, but they don't do the like cute setups. Like I feel like it helps you to be so creative when you walk in the studio.
I definitely like to get props that can be used in multiple spots. Where it comes from, I like to shop around. Like sometimes I'll buy off KSL, sometimes I'll buy brand new. It just kind of depends on the deal and what I see. And Pinterest is really helpful. Or a lot of times people will DM me and be like, I would love to see like the green wall's been asked for. And so that was kind of
I love the green wall. I'm
a
like,
customer
this is like
pick,
my favorite color this year, and I'm like, I want this to be every color of everything. That's cool. I like that you are so interactive with your like following on social media. That's something that I know that you have talked about. How have you kind of cultivated that culture where people respond really well to your posts?
I think it's a 2-way street. So when they give me attention, I like to give them attention and their page attention too. And I think that's really important. An actual conversation rather than like, oh, that's so cute. Like everybody thinks something's cute.
Yeah.
But try to get a little bit further than, oh, just that's so cute.
Yeah. Do you feel like social media has helped you to grow your brand?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. And how, like, what advice would you have for another business that's trying to grow like in that social media vein?
I would say definitely be kind. If people can get mean, and there's no need to be mean. So I think definitely be kind and trade. So like, what can you offer and what can they offer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, a good tip is in Facebook, like photo groups, like groups. I feel like that really has created a good space to communicate all the creative aspects in one.
And that helps kind of everybody to grow and like to be able to help do trades and stuff. I think that's really cool. I think that's really nice also to like more is more. Like when one small business is growing, like we all are growing.
Exactly.
So that's something that I think is really cool that you're like willing to kind of like work with people on stuff like that.
And I feel like we have a good relationship with other studios around too. Like if we can't service, like we're a smaller space, so like we can't do huge families.
Yeah.
And so I always like to tell where they can go for that.
Yeah.
And they'll send people my way too. So like we like to send.
Yeah,
clients
that's
to each
cool.
other.
That's something that I've seen a lot, and I don't know if that's something that's like specific to Utah, but I feel like
It could be, yeah.
small businesses here, like we all want each other to succeed, and it really is like the more people that are doing it, the more opportunity that it creates for everyone else to be successful. So I really like that you said that. As a business owner, what are some challenges that you have had to overcome?
I think patience, people following the rules, things breaking, people leaving on time, just like little things. Nothing huge, thankfully.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
I know, seriously, not on everything. What is something that, like, was there ever like an aha moment for you where you were like, oh my gosh, like this business is doing really well, like this is working?
I think after Christmas, the first year. Because it definitely takes time. Like, you can't expect to go into a business and be like 1 month in and be like, oh my gosh, we're doing good, because you don't really succeed until your first year.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah. So I think, just being patient and actually seeing the numbers flow in a continuous amount. So, yeah. I am a numbers girl. I like numbers. So.
Yeah. What would be your advice for people who are also kind of in that numbers vein, like not seeing maybe the growth that they were expecting to see? Like, how do you stay patient, and how did you kind of like continue forward in this passion that you have?
I think kind of being open to change, being willing to try something different.
Yeah.
If you're not open to change, then you'll just stay in that same hole and get stuck. So I think definitely trying to up your game. What can you do next? What can you change to grow?
Yeah, and like paying attention to what's not working.
Yes.
And paying attention to what is working, so that you
And
can like follow that.
listening to what your customers say. I feel like if you're not asking your clients what they like, what they don't like, then you're not really even listening to them.
Yeah. I know, because it's like really at the end of the day, like you can love your ideas, but if everyone else is like, I don't really get it, then you're not on board. But when you can find that like middle ground where you're listening really well, then you can deliver a better product.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart, and like just kind of being able to be like humble enough to be like, what do you want to see, and not taking it like negatively.
Yes.
I think that's really good. When you come up with those ideas, like, have you ever had one that you think is going to work out super great, and then you're like, oh crap, this did not go?
Yes. I don't know if you remember the green grass wall. Do you remember that? I had put like fake grass on the wall.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
It was like little palms everywhere.
Yeah.
That I had higher expectations for. It looked great in front of it, but it didn't photograph very well.
Yeah.
And you could kind of tell that it wasn't like real grass. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one was kind of a flop in my eyes. But yeah, there's definitely been ones that I like more than others. Yeah.
What's something that you've learned from the ones that you feel like didn't go as well as you would have liked?
Well, luckily, this type of stuff is kind of low risk, so I can usually sell it, or it didn't cost that much, so I can just take that cut. But I would recommend maybe just keeping in mind if it doesn't work, how can you repurpose it so that someone else can use it.
Yeah, that's super smart. What advice would you have for someone who is wanting to start a business, like photo studio or not? Like, what's your best business advice?
Checklists, and like I would say timelines that aren't too strict, but they're not too far out either. Because if like imagine a ladder and you've got the steps, right? If you have steps that are too far out, you can't even reach that to get to that next step. So like a middle ground, I think, is really good, and just to kind of check yourself so that you're on task and you're not falling too far behind.
Yeah, that's super smart. I think like giving yourself a deadline so that you're not like sitting on it forever. Because I think that there are so many times that you get these ideas that you're like, I'm gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
But then you're like, it just kind of stays an idea. And once you put like a hard and fast, like, okay, we're opening this date, so it has to be done.
Yeah.
Like
and
that.
also not beating yourself up too if you don't meet the goals.
Yeah.
So.
Which I feel like can be really hard. Like when you set a specific expectation, like, and not quite hitting it, but realizing that like growth is still growth, even if it's not as big as you thought it was going to be. That's super cool. So if you would like to book some studio time at LOFT Studio, you actually can get 20% off of your purchase with Biz20. That's BIZ20 at checkout. Is that correct? Correct. And then make sure that you follow LOFT Studio on Instagram. She always is posting super cute like inspiration things and you can kind of see what's going on at the studio. I also love that you do a lot of like the behind the scenes. I think there are things like, for example, this wall, and this couch. There totally are things that I see on your Instagram that I'm like, I want to do that at my house. Like, I think that you also bring that like element of like home design. So it's not just for photo studio stuff, it's like to have at your house too.
I actually did take a little interior design in college.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I think that's so smart.
Yeah, and then it didn't feel completely right. And then later down in the years when I opened this, it clicked. I was like, I needed a little
That's
knowledge.
why I needed it. That's so funny. It's like something that totally applies.
Yeah.
And it gives you like that edge, because it's not just a white space. You get like all of the things you could possibly come up with. So thank you for chatting with me.
Yes.
And make sure that you follow her Instagram and come and use the space because it is fantastic. Bye.
See ya.